18 nations formed this year's convoy, with South Africa present for the first time. Spirits were high, as this year's competitors worked together to dig each other out of the mud. From El Dorado, the team would head west, out of the thick jungle and across the wet swamplands of Paraguay, back into Argentina for day after day of driving on the dry Chaco plains, over the Andes and into the Atacama Desert, and the finish on the Pacific coast of Chile. 18 days, 3 countries, and 2,500 kilometers. Let's pick up the action.
The tracks the far side were as waterlogged as the Parana. Only the fish were missing. The locals call this the road to hell, except hell is cooler than central Paraguay. With every meter the mud got wetter. Puddles became ponds, ponds became lakes. The road became a sea of mud. If it was the last thing they did, the teams were there to get through the mire. The sight of cattle on the road made the task seem easier, but cows and gauchos are about the only things that dare tackle the road to hell. For 5 months of the year, no wheeled vehicles even venture near the place. It didn't take the teams long to work out why. The road to hell turned from bumpy to a wet roller coaster ride. The Discoveries bucked and kicked like the local cattle. Their drivers held on like the gauchos for dear life. Below the surface of the water, deep ruts sank up to 3 feet deep. The front of the Discoveries disappeared underwater like boats in a storm. Some holes got too deep even for the Discoveries. With eternal optimism, the teams got out of the vehicles and got stuck into digging the ruts out of the road. In 3 hours, the convoy only crept forward 300 meters.
Yeah, certainly at the start of the convoy this morning, we were expecting a bit of trouble. This is the first major obstacle, a lot of mud, soft sand, water, long haul through us over here now. None of the convoys through yet. We've got to prepare the road. It's going to be a difficult one, but we'll get through. The spirit is very good. The guys are ready. They're working hard, digging hard. As you can see, they've already done a lot of work digging and preparing the road. And the guys are enjoying it thoroughly.
This is not nice.
The convoy split into work groups, getting one vehicle through each obstacle at a time. Those up front had to deal with virgin mud. Those behind had to deal with the holes made bigger by the cars ahead. At one point, the convoy stretched out for 10 miles. From 18 separate units, the convoy gelled into one team of workers. The sun baked the mud hard onto their skin and clothes and made the bodywork of the Discoveries hot enough to cook on. Still relatively fresh after only 4 days on the road, the teams were fighting fit and insanely keen to overcome the sea of mud and water. The mud had been a backbreaker. Now the challenge was the Chaco, the endless prairies in Argentina's far northwest. The convoy made good time across the Chaco, traveling the farthest distance in 1 day since the 1992 Camel Trophy. At the end of the 18-hour day, the convoy fought through bushes long and sharp enough to rip a tire, just to find a campsite on the banks of the river Pasaje. For a week, the sole objective of the Camel Trophy was to cross the Andes, stopping only for 2 days to build a mountain research center near Payogasta. Climbing thousands of meters a day, the convoy snaked into South America's wildest mountains. With every meter climbed, the air got thinner and cooler, the engines hotter and wearier. A week ago, the route was bogged with mud. Now there wasn't water enough to keep much alive. Only cacti and prickly grasses survived this high.
Because we've been climbing so high, the vehicles have been working extra hard and consequently they're overheating. And with the advice is run the heaters on, although it's still very hot here, keep the heaters on, the windows open and take it steady with the vehicles. watch the temperature gauge. I've never seen anything like this before. Mountaineering is my hobby and I spend a lot of time in the mountains, but this is just absolutely amazing, and the best is yet to come. I mean, we're still climbing higher and higher. I'm wondering when the road is going to end. We're still going up and up. It's great.
It's a world on top of the world, a place where only the toughest survive and where the brave dare tread. Perfect for Camel Trophy. Between the Andes and the ocean is the Atacama, the world's driest desert. For hundreds of miles, there's no vegetation, just sand and rock. It took 2 days to come down off the mountains into Atacama. Every meter closer to the sea, the air warmed up and the oxygen got thicker. In the heart of the desert, the heat was fierce and the dust heavy. At the back of the convoy, the teams were driving blind in a fog of bull dust, so thick that the Canary Islanders almost drove off the edge of a cliff. In teams of 6 discoveries, the drivers headed for their invisible coordinates in the desert. A marshal in one of the cars was meant to observe the navigation challenge and tell the teams when they had found the right spots. The groups crisscrossed the Atacama all day, driving up and down dunes, trying to find a way across gullies, just to get the elusive map coordinates. One group took 3 hours to find the first point, going round and round the same dune to find a way to the top. Anyone taking a shortcut ended up stuck in a gully or up to the axles in soft sand. Not all teams agreed on how to navigate. The Swiss, who were still leading after El Dorado, had a big falling out. The Italians also. Only one group managed to get all their GPS points in the right order. The Canary Islanders even got stuck in a hole and waved their group away, thinking that they could get out on their own. But this task was not about driving fast. The idea was about working as a unit. Even for the best teams, finding the coordinates was not easy. The last 50 kilometers of the 2,500 across South America looked more like a desert caravan than the world's toughest four-wheel drive adventure. There was no avoiding the bull dust this time on the final sweep through the Atacama, down onto the beach at Juanitos. For the first time in 3 weeks, the Camel Trophy could go no further.
Well, it was great coming through to the final end line. It was a fantastic feeling having to achieve the objectives of the Camel Trophy now. But yeah, all good things must come to an end. And it happens too quickly, but it's been a fantastic experience and thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish. No regrets whatsoever, and the experiences obtained were, undescribable. It's really fantastic.
Victory this year went to Spain. Congratulations. Central America, home of the ancient Maya. Belize, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador and Honduras. Through 5